Happy Wednesday, everyone. So did you hear? The squad, they demanded something. I know. Let's hope it's 4 one-way tickets to Cuba. Really, why do they keep demanding so much from America when they could get everything they want from a commie paradise 90 miles south? What whiners? Terrorists don't make this many demands when they kidnap someone. They work for us, not the reverse. But now they're lashing out at Biden after he said the White House has no plans to extend the pause on federal student loan repayments. Gee, I wonder if AOC has over $17,000 in student loan debt.
I have over $17,000 in student loan debt. We have a moral obligation, an economic obligation, a political obligation to cancel student loan debt.
Cancel. Did you get that? We are morally obligated to pay off this idiot's debt. Sorry, lady, if the members of the squad were morally obligated, then one of them couldn't marry her brother. Red meat. So she's talking about her college education debt, where she majored in dumb with a minor in ignorance. And it's the debt that she agreed to pay, but now she wants you to cover the tab. But okay, I'll play. If I pay your debt, then you gotta pay my mortgage. How's that for a trade, numbnuts? Why do you get a special carve-out and not me? You actually have more power than I do. You got the privilege and now you want the perks. How about returning that dress you wore to the gala? That's $20K right there. So we don't owe you a single penny. I only wish there was someone around who's even dumber than her.
I worked full-time Monday through Friday and took weekend classes to get my law degree, and still close to $200,000 in debt.
Whose fault is that? You brimming cup of piping hot stupid? If she could work hard to get her degree, why can't she work hard to pay for her degree? Write a book. Hell, even Jesse Waters can do that. And now you expect us to wipe that financial slate clean? She makes $174 grand a year off taxpayers, and for her, that's not enough. But it does raise a point. Why do the dumbest people have the most degrees? As a matter of fact, the really smart ones don't have any. Einstein quit high school, Bill Gates dropped out, so did James Woods and David Geffen. Both Zuckerberg and Steve Jobs left school without diplomas too. What does that tell you? At least these people have made huge contributions to our world, unlike you dolts. Those pieces of paper we call diplomas are the only reason to mistake the squad for being smart. And sure, maybe they got ripped off, but not by you or me. They didn't go to the University of Gutfeld, which is free, and voted #1 party school 3 years in a row. Yeah, I am accepting applicants, but you have to send a photo. They got ripped off by the colleges, who saw how easy it was to get student loans from banks, tagging these brain-dead bozos with absurd interest rates. Who would think a system where 18-year-olds with no income getting $100,000 loans would cause problems? The universities and the government did. They should give themselves an A for absolutely incompetent. And didn't AOC get a degree in economics? I could clip my toenails for 6 months, put them in a bag, and they would understand inflation better than her. By the way, I sell them on eBay to pay off my college debt. That's enterprising. Now, they try to pretend that forgiving student debt helps the poor, except the people with student debt are just like them, pampered upper-middle-class leftists who can afford more stuff than you. We've seen AOC's D.C. apartment on Instagram. Didn't look like Section 8 housing to me, Miss Cortez. They pretend to be the working class, but they expect the working class to bail them out. Yet while they were racking up debt with useless degrees, the working class were denied that opportunity, largely due to cost. You bail these idiots out, you're literally taking money from people who are worse off than them. I wonder how this would play out in the real world.
Just this, please.
Oh, and he's gonna pay for all these too.
I don't know this lady.
All right, come on, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Even if I wanted to, I can't afford all this.
Okay, whatever, cool. But you're not the one who's late to her country club wine tasting, so come on.
I can't afford a country club either.
Just take out a loan.
Take out a loan. It's like a little New Yorker cartoon. So how can these squad members do this with a straight face? Maybe that's why Biden and Pelosi had so much plastic surgery. So here's an idea. You want debt forgiveness that actually doesn't help the rich? I got a plan. I call it Gutfeld on wheels. There are more people who rely on cars for a living than a master's degree in gender dysmorphia. Suddenly, their gas costs more than 50% than before. Their loans are roughly the same as the student loans. Why not forgive those loans for hardworking Yanks instead of your spoiled scholastic? I won't pick up the tab for some whiny entitled creep, but I'll pay off the truck loan of some contractor supporting a family or an IHOP waitress with 2 kids who moonlights as a stripper and needs implants. I'm nothing if not a philanthropist. Forgiving an auto loan is way more egalitarian than forgiving debt for people who go to Met Galas and a Tesla. But if you want loan forgiveness, you can't come to us. You got to go to the schools. Why punish the taxpayers? They didn't take your money. The overpaid administrators did. Their cost controls are more non-existent than Pete Buttigieg's breast pump. Of course, Joe Biden, instead of leading, continues squirming, a spineless void ready for the picking. He said it's up to Congress to help execute his plan to cancel 10 grand worth of student loans, but only if the Congress sends him a bill. It's pretty convenient for this lame Trojan horse. Speaking of horses, we'd be better off with Mr. Ed running things. At least he could talk. But it could be that Joe is playing dumb. But come to think of it, there would be no playing involved. Welcome, tonight's guest. He's so young, he still calls Congress his summer job. North Carolina GOP Congressman Madison Cawthorn. She's as smart as the whip she uses to beat her co-host. Host of Kennedy of Business, Kennedy. She's like a string of old Christmas lights, twisted and half of the time never working. Fox News contributor Kat Timm. And as a child, Santa left him cookies on Christmas Eve. My massive sidekick and the NWA World Television Champion, Iris. But Kennedy, she took weekend classes. That should be enough reason to pay her debt.
No, there is no moral obligation. There's no political obligation. There's no emotional obligation. There just isn't. And I'm glad people are finally catching on to the ruse because college enrollment is down. And at community college, it's down by double digits. That's because people have figured out they don't get a lot after they earn a 4-year degree. I interviewed a writer from the Wall Street Journal last week, and he told me that men are leaving college in droves. So it's now 60-40 men to women in college because guys are considered the enemy, and they've also done the cost-benefit analysis. They would rather start working at 18 and get a jump on the competition. And then when you decide what you want to do and you want a specific degree to help you get a better job, then you go to college. That might be a better way for a lot of people.
Yeah, and you have money saved up for it. You don't have to rely on the government and then come and ask taxpayers for a bailout, Congressman. I realize what makes you different from Tom Brady. Oh. You're better looking and you're faster.
Now, I'll tell you, people attack him all the time and I think it was Tony Romo who decreased his speed rating, but he gets more first downs than Romo ever did. So I believe in him. But I'll tell you,
yes,
I think that these federally subsidized student loans are the biggest lie. I feel bad for my generation because they've been told that the way to get ahead in life is to go get a college degree. I'm a college dropout. My chief of staff's a college dropout.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
When did you drop out?
I dropped out after my first year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's so asinine. I mean, you get there and it's great to be well-rounded and learn all the history and all this stuff, but once you leave, you realize that this doesn't actually get me ahead in life. When you could just go start your own business and make money, actually build something with your.
What did you do when you dropped out? What was the first thing you did?
I went into real estate investment, did tax foreclosures. It was awesome. But I'll tell you, the problem is though, you realize the system's broken when an 18-year-old can not get a $10,000 business loan, but they're able to get a $100,000 student loan that will do them no good in the long run. So this is awful, but for AOC, who I guarantee does not tithe in any way, to be able to say, oh, well, 10% of my yearly income is a ridiculous amount for me to be considered to pay.
Yeah.
She makes $174,000 a year. She can't pay back $17,000? That's insane.
It is insane. Do you talk to her much?
No, I don't.
Do you hang out with the squad?
I do not. And I'll tell you, A lot of them will tell you, the person I am on media and on social media, that's just work, but I'm able to be friends behind the scenes. And when one of them told me that, I almost looked back and said, oh yeah, no, that's I totally understand, that work's work. But then I realized, wait a minute, you are leading my generation down a dystopian hell path to destroy our entire country, lie to the American people, and just make us a socialist country. So I don't want to be your friend in any way. I don't want to spend any time with you. Then I left.
I just want to point out he said dystopian hell path, and he didn't go to college. Huh? There you go. Somebody has a word-a-day calendar. Better than college, I say, cat. You know what drives me crazy? The cancel student debt thing. They never tell you what it means. Like it always sounds like some kind of weird being is going to cancel it, and all the money goes away.
I say that.
Yes.
I've been saying that for years. I'll send you the receipts later.
Yes.
Because it's not canceling. It's forcing other people to pay for it.
Right.
And there's no moral obligation to, taxation's not just theft because the cops arrest you, they have guns. Taxation is armed robbery. So there's no moral obligation to, promote more armed robbery. Pay for your own.
Yes. These are the least deserving people of a bailout. I'd rather bail out the banks again, or the Bloods, or the Crips. Iris.
I would probably hold off on bailing out the Bloods and Crips. Might want to win on that one.
Okay.
But, it's funny to me that as they sit there with their first world problems, I get speaking fees of $50,000, but I can't pay a $17,000 loan back. What about the mom and dad who said, hey, you know what, no vacation.
Oh, repaid.
We're putting our money away to send our son and daughter to school. And they did the due diligence. They did the work. They sacrificed all that money, and they paid for their child to go to school. And whether they graduated or not graduated, do they get that money back?
I would rather pay them.
Because they made the choice, and then they didn't. They chose. It's about accountability, which is a 4-letter word to the woke and the squad, because they don't want to be accountable. But those Americans who put it on their back to put their kids through school, it's a slap in their face.
Right.
And it should show up when they vote.
It's like, you know what the thing is? If the government actually did that, let's say they did some kind of weird lottery where they just randomly paid people who actually worked nights and got that would be an incentive to pay it off.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even just parents. To the person in the relationship who helped put their significant other through med school or whatever, and then they left them. So should they get a check?
Yes.
But no, the ones who actually got free money apparently squandered it miserably with their education. They should get bailed out. It's as ridiculous as just calling yourself the squad.
Can I quickly call AOC out on something that she said? She said that 67% of jobs require education beyond high school. That's nonsense because 66% of the people in the country don't have college degrees. So it's like that's one of those statistics. Like, she's just lying. She's literally making something up. And no, if you're going to make more over the course of your lifetime, that puts you into a different privileged class. You should absolutely be paying for the other things that people who really struggle can't afford, like gas.
Exactly. All right.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.